I think there's a few parts of this. One of the big ones is that as a Swedish startup, you're used to building globally from day one. The economy here is small, but the density of talent is very high, and whenever a startup starts here, they might say, if there's a business-to-business startup, they might focus on a few customers here, and then they go global from almost from day one. What we're also seeing is that there is very much of a long-term thinking and a culture around building for the coming decades.
Is that long-term thinking, is that a particular moment, or is it repeatable, do you think, and sustained in Sweden?
This has always been this case, I would say, compared to companies. I've had Swedes that come back to Sweden from working in Silicon Valley, in London at tech companies, and they miss the way that we think about being here for the long term, and everyone really caring about team performing really well, being very, very well knit together, which is more of the Swedish culture of building teams and tech companies in general.
Are you seeing more of that? Swedes coming back to Sweden, and indeed US talent coming to Sweden. Is that something that you're seeing in a meaningful way?
100%. So since we are at a scale that is kind of the hypergrowth that is more uncommon in Sweden, we have a few leaders that are been kind of schooled at companies outside of Sweden, and they're moving with their families to Stockholm.
And to be clear, this is an ecosystem that you believe can genuinely build globally scalable, globally significant tech companies, not just highly efficient companies that then get bought by US capital.
Yeah, 100%. We are in this for the long term. One of the things that we have here as well is good capital markets. That's never been a constraint, and I think that's one of the factors. But more so, I think the culture and the talent is what's driving us punching above our weight.
So do you think the next $100 billion tech company comes out of Silicon Valley or out of Stockholm?
The next one, I think we have very good chances to do it from here, from Stockholm.
Okay. Yeah. And you've made the deliberate decision of keeping your headquarters in Stockholm.
Yeah,
why?
Great. Yeah. So it is the long-term thinking, the low turnover of teams who work from here. They become very tight-knit and successful together. It's the access to talent, or we can be the absolutely biggest talent magnet where everyone in Stockholm wants to work. So it's a very strategic decision, and I'm very, very proud to be able to build a generational company that changes how humans interact with technology, which is what Lovable does, from Stockholm. What
can the rest of Europe learn from what Sweden is doing right when it comes to supporting that tech ecosystem?
It's a lot of how previous founders help the new generation of founders, which we have. Of course, there's a lot of this in Silicon Valley, and there's also that here in Stockholm. I think the other part is just making sure that entrepreneurs feel supported and have role models to look up to, celebrating those role models and inspire them to go out and start companies. I think it's hard to learn like a cultural change, but that's fundamentally what is strong here. It's the culture of building from the global market from day one. I understand that that's a bit different from some of the larger European countries.
Is there anything that you would change if you could that would further turbocharge Sweden's success in tech?
I think I would love it to be easier to innovate together with the government in Sweden. It's not something we have looked at so much in terms of from a commercial interest, but I just know that we could have an even stronger social system if there was the same type of technological innovation that's happening in the private sector was even faster embraced in the public sector. And we're good at it, but I just know we can be even better at it.
So the government should be adopting some of these tech solutions and integrating tech more rapidly. Is that part of what you're getting at there?
I would like to see ambition and urgency from leaders, political leaders and institutional leaders to reimagine what is possible with technology and with AI in terms of serving and providing services to the population at large.
Do you think that's lacking, that urgency as well in Brussels?
I think this urgency could be higher in Sweden. I think it's lacking in Europe at large, for sure. I think some people in the European leadership, Ursula, she has the urgency, I feel it, but we need it across every part of Europe, and adopting European technology creates, like an even stronger flywheel of more Europeans that see that you can have impact if you build technology for the public sector. So that's also something I would love to see. One of the parts of urgency is in the education sector and training the next generation on understanding that you don't need to study and learn the knowledge. You can go out and solve real problems since you have access to all the world's knowledge in your phone. And you can, at an early age, which I've been seeing through my career, very ambitious, talented people, they can change the world, especially when they have AI at their fingertips.
Do you think US investors in particular underestimate Europe?
I think so, 100%. I think since we started growing, there were a lot of investors like, oh wow, how did we not think about that you can build a company like this from Stockholm? And I'm just super proud that we are here and we are on the track to build a company that's going to shape the future of how us humans create, shape, and use technology.